What's going on, everybody? Mike Butler back with the second ever edition of Chalked Up. We're doing week 2 of the NFL season. And, of course, we are joined by Broadcast Notes on Notes co-host Jared Schaefer. Jared, how are you today?
Mr. Mike Butler, how the hell are you, my friend?
I can't complain, you know. I got a fresh new haircut. I got a fresh new beard.
Woo, baby! I wish I could see you right now.
I know. I'm less scruffy than the last time we saw each other.
Last and first.
Yes. Last and first. A very good point. So, we're going to hop right into it. Week 2 of the NFL. We're going to recap last night's game. Texans.
We gotta talk some chalk, bro?
Yeah. What's that?
We gotta talk some chalk?
No, we're going to talk some chalk. That's all we do on this.
Beautiful. I'm ready to talk some chalk, baby.
All right. So, let's hop right into this Texans-Bengals game. Pretty disappointing, I guess. I don't know. I'm a guy who's a fan of like high offense games. Were you able to catch any of it?
Yeah, I caught most of it. I was switching back and forth with the Phillies, to be honest, because what this kid Reese Hoskins is doing right now is unbelievable.
Oh, God, unbelievable.
That was much more fun to watch than anytime he came up. I was like, fuck the football game. but I did catch most of it, and that was about what I expected out of those two teams.
Really? Because of like good defense or because of like bad offense?
A little bit of both. I was thinking rookie quarterback in his first start. Although he managed the game well, they weren't going to ask him to do too much. So I knew the Texans weren't going to go out and put up 27 points. It wasn't going to happen.
Right.
And the Bengals just look so piss poor week 1. They look like the worst team in the NFL.
Wow. And that's
Andy Dalton had negative fantasy points.
Right. He threw like 4 picks, did he not?
I think he had 4 picks and a fumble. He had negative 4 fantasy points.
First fantasy tip of the week. Hope you didn't already, but don't start Andy Dalton this week.
Don't start Andy Dalton. Yeah, you know it's bad when a team fires their offensive coordinator the next day. After 2 games.
That's insane. That is unbelievable. So let's go back to Deshaun Watson. He had the big 49-yard touchdown run, which was very, very Michael Vick-esque, I will say. Just not as
that was honestly a super exciting play. I knew he was mobile. I didn't think he was that mobile.
Yeah, me neither. I did not think he was that mobile. I thought that was like a pretty cool play.
He almost pulled that classic Vic and had 2 defenders run into each other.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. It was absolutely great.
Yeah, I like that kid. I'm actually rooting for him. So I hope he does good.
So do I. I think he will.
I think he will too.
Turns out that was the only touchdown scored in the game.
It sure was.
I felt like there was and I only call it the fourth quarter really. Like I was able to get home from work, rush home from work 12 minutes in. Not 12 minutes into the fourth quarter. 4 minutes into the fourth quarter, I was able to catch it, and it just from what I saw, real just conservative football from the Texans.
Yes.
I mean, if Watson was throwing, I felt like he was only throwing to DeAndre Hopkins, and
only to DeAndre Hopkins, and no more than 8 or 10 yards down the field.
Right. Very conservative, and
yeah,
I guess that's kind of what you were getting to with they weren't going to ask him to do much, you know? I mean, they're not looking for a 300-yard game from him or nothing. And Bengals are just sloppy.
Bengals are super sloppy right now. Marvin Lewis is on the hot seat.
Oh, I can't believe he's still, there, to be honest with you.
He's been there for, over a decade, 12, 13 years.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. And I think
and he's never won a playoff. He's never won a playoff game there.
Right there, I'm just like, dude, really? Never won a playoff game?
Granted, the Bengals were a fucking laughing stock before he got there. That's why they were called the Bungles.
So let's talk about the last play of the game. It was kind of exciting. I hate to say it, but it was kind of exciting because they got further down in this whole lateral game than I thought. Old ass.
Yeah, they got to like the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and then JJ Watt just destroyed that poor lineman.
That's unfortunate. That sucks to be a center and have to get tackled by JJ Watt.
You don't prepare for that.
Never.
You don't prepare for that in practice if you're a lineman. Like, Jesus. But either way, it was. If you had to give the game like a 5-star rating, where would you put it?
1.5. 1.5 stars. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as like entertainment value.
Yeah, maybe 2 stars just for the Watson play, but it wasn't anything worse than I expected. But week 2 in the NFL is still a little sloppy.
Sure. If you thought that game was something, next Thursday you got the Rams and the Niners. That'll be who's gonna turn the ball more. I feel like.
Oh boy, yeah, that's not going to be a pretty one.
I mean, unless Jared Goff has shown up this year, and he did well against the Colts, but the Colts are probably going to be like a top, or not top, I guess a bottom 5 team this year.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the idea that Goff's a bust yet. I thought the talk on that was way too premature for some people.
Really was. All right, so let's get into these games here, and of course, as you know, I go in time order, and just so happens, first game that popped up, Eagles-Chiefs.
1 o'clock again, baby.
1 o'clock.
Let's get into it. Let's get into our birds.
All right, so if I recall correctly, my bold prediction last week was that Torrey Smith was going to score 2 touchdowns. Don't even think he had a catch. He might have had 1 or 2. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he definitely had at least 1. I know he had his first reception as an Eagle.
But overall, pretty good defensive performance for the Eagles.
Yeah, the defense won that game for them. Absolutely. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox could not be blocked. Bars.
Right. Carson Wentz had a really good game, I felt like, but he needs to stop throwing the ball where the defenders are, pretty much. Like if Washington, I don't want to say they don't have good defenders because they do, but Wentz could have easily had like 3 picks in that game. I felt.
Yeah, he's got to be a little more cautious with the ball, but hopefully that comes with time and getting chemistry with his receivers. Him and Alshon looked a little out of sync still, and
right.
He just missed Torrey Smith once or twice.
Yeah,
he also undershot him once and almost got that pick.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you say that chemistry with the receivers because I guess it's no surprise that the most chemistry he seemed to have was with Zach Ertz and with Nelson Aguilar, the 2 people he's probably worked the most with.
Absolutely, especially Ertz. What did Ertz have? 9 catches on Sunday?
God. He killed it last night.
Yeah. So anything within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, I think Wentz is money still.
Yes. So this week we're not facing the Redskins. We're not facing that kind of team. We're facing a really good and, in my opinion, a very underrated Kansas City Chiefs team. Not so much their defense is underrated, but I think that offense is very underrated.
Yeah, they are going – that opinion's going to change very soon. People are going to stop underrating them, I think, very soon.
Now, their defense is banged up. They've lost Eric Berry for the season, which fucking sucks.
That's a huge loss. That's a huge loss for them.
So bad. There's a couple storylines here that I really want to pay attention to. The first one is at Tyreek Hill. He was dealing with cramps during the Patriots game. However, he had like 133 receiving yards, highlighted with a 7-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
How how do you think he's going to play? I mean, I'm assuming the cramps are like done with. I haven't heard like anything serious about him this week.
Yeah, he's off the practice report, and honestly, I'm a little scared about him. I don't feel like there's anybody in the defensive backfield for the Birds that could hang with him.
That was my next question. Who? I mean, I'm assuming it would. Oh shit! No, well, Ronald Darby. Let's go. I mean, Ronald Darby's out 4 to 6 weeks with a dislocated ankle.
Like even if we had Ronald Darby in the lineup, it would be a tall task. You would still have to put Darby and maybe shade a safety over top of him because he's just so fucking fast. But without Darby, he's going to be a problem. So as weird as it sounds about the Kansas City Chiefs, the longer we can keep their offense off the field, the better. And that sounds fucking crazy saying that about the Chiefs.
Right. And
if the Eagles can grind it out, though, and, like, keep this game close towards the end, you know, just run the ball a lot, control the time of possession game. I don't know if Doug Peterson can do that because I know his best weapon is Carson Wentz, obviously, but that's the way they win this ball game. That's the only way they win this ball game is dominating time of possession.
And time of possession. And it's interesting to say time of possession because the second storyline that I'm jumping into is the first meeting between Doug Peterson, former offensive coordinator of the Chiefs, and Andy Reid going head-to-head. Andy Reid, obviously the former head coach of the Eagles, long time.
And pretty much mentor of Doug Peterson throughout his quarterbacking days in Green Bay, throughout his quarterbacking days in Philly, throughout his coaching days in Kansas City. Andy Reid and Doug Peterson have been attached at the hip since 1998.
Yeah, right.
97. So I'm pretty sure Andy Reid knows Doug Peterson better than Doug Peterson knows Doug Peterson.
Do you think that's going to have an effect on the game? Do you think Andy Reid knows what Doug Peterson's planning this week?
I mean, I think so, but I feel like Doug's kind of the guy that might overthink himself, and that could be detrimental. He's like, fuck, I know what Andy's going to think. I'm going to change my whole game plan up this week and try to surprise him, hit him with a knockout punch. But, I mean, who knows how that's going to play out. We'll see on Sunday, but my hopes aren't too high.
Aren't too high. Okay. So, injuries, it's funny to see this. Just because, like, last week I'm looking at the injury reports and there's, like, maybe 2-3 people on them. And now the Eagles, they got some people on there. Let's take a look here. You got Ronald Darby. He's out.
Yeah.
Destiny Vio, he's the defensive tackle. He's out.
Yeah, that's not a huge loss, but I mean, D-line depth is important.
Right. Corey Graham is questionable. He's backup safety. I feel like with Tyreek Hill, they're going to need all the safety help they can get. So I feel like they're going to be using maybe 3 safeties a lot.
They have used Malcolm Jenkins in the slot time. So
you're right. And then we get a little bit more interesting on the injury report. Caleb Sturgis, he has what is called a hip flexor. He's been placed on IR. They picked up, I believe, off the Bengals practice squad, Jake Elliott. Rookie kicker. That's big because Caleb Sturgis has had a career year last year for the Eagles.
Yeah, Caleb Sturgis has been rock solid. He is one of the better kickers in the NFL for sure.
I agree with you there, and it scares me. It scares me.
It always does. Like, I don't like. Remember when Alex Henry was our kicker? Yep. I was never confident about a 37-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Sturgis went like 17 for 17 inside 40 yards last year.
That's incredible.
Like you need somebody like that. If you're within 40 yards, you make the damn kick. You get 3 points. And Alex Henry used to scare the shit out of me.
Yeah. And
I don't want that no more, Mike. Mike, I don't want that.
Dude, I mean, right after Henry, you had Cody Parkey, and he shit the bed, and then Caleb Sturgis took his job.
Cody Parkey had that one great year too, or like maybe he was like half a great year, and then got hurt in the preseason, and then Sturgis just
Just killed
took
it.
his job. We never heard from Parkey again. He went to Indianapolis, missed a bunch of kicks, and they cut his ass.
Yeah. And this Jake Elliott kid, who knows? Like, that's all I have no info on this guy whatsoever. He wasn't gonna,
except that he's Ezekiel's brother.
is he? No, he's not.
I'm almost positive he's not.
I was like, I'm pretty sure the dude's like white. Not that matters.
Not that matters, but I'm almost positive he is too. When's the last time there's been a black kicker?
Well, that Marquette King guy, he's probably the best black punter / kicker in the business.
Oh, best slash only.
Yeah. So then we're not done with the injury reports for the Eagles. I don't know if this next one's a big one or not, but Donnell Pumphrey tears his hamstring. He was placed on IR. Sturgis was on IR as well. So Pumphrey also back on IR. You see this affecting the Eagles game at all?
No, not at all. I figured they were going to do that week 1, honestly, and just who knows how bad Pumphrey's hamstring injury actually is, but you can't carry 5 running backs. You got to clear up roster spot for somebody else.
Sure.
So I think that's what that Pumphrey move was.
Yeah, I agree. And then, of course, on the Chiefs side, Eric Berry placed on IR, tore his Achilles. Is it a big enough?
No news about Jason Peters on our side.
Yeah, no news about Jason Peters. No news about Marcus Peters on the Chiefs side.
I guess no news is good news.
Right, but Jason Peters, he's gonna be on the injury. I feel like he's one of those guys going to be on the injury report all week, and then play the game, get injured in the game.
Yeah, mess up the whole rhythm because Big V did not look good last week. Vitae, man, Junior Gillette kept beating him and almost getting Carson killed. Mm-hmm. We can't have that.
So, yeah, Jason Peters needs to knock it off.
Yeah, Jason Peters needs to stay in the game for every goddamn snap.
So, on ESPN, the Chiefs are favored to win by, man, they're a 74.5% favorite.
Wow.
Compared to a 25% Eagles score. Ah, man, that's this game's gonna be close.
In our pick'em league that we're in,
yes,
the Chiefs have been picked by 88% of the population.
Whoa!
So they're the overwhelming favorite in the public opinion as well.
Yeah, and I don't know how you read into that, but let's go to the pick'ems, and I have them right in front of me. I prepared for this one, since I have this all set up now. Eagles, Chiefs. Jared, who do you have?
Like I said, the only way the Eagles have a chance is grinding it out, keeping it close, maybe having the game 20-13 towards the end with a chance to win it. But I think the Chiefs hang on and win it 20-13 Chiefs.
Man. See, last week when the Eagles were down, I honestly was a bad Eagles fan, and I was saying they're not gonna come back from this. There's something, every time there's in these big divisional games, something doesn't go right. The Eagles are gonna late turnover, whatever. They're not gonna win this game.
New birds, baby. New birds.
New birds, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
You said they needed to pound it. Well, LeGarrette Blount was our leading rusher with 14 carries and 46 yards last week. Not impressive.
Not super impressive, but a couple of those carries, he did what he needed to do, picking up first downs. He even scored a touchdown through the air, which is pretty weird.
Yes. That's the last thing I was expecting.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming.
So I did pick the Eagles to win. That may be the homer in me. I'm not sure. but it ain't going to be pretty. I think it's going to be. You said 2013. I'm thinking like maybe like 13-10. Like I don't think offenses are going to do anything. And we didn't even talk about the star of last week, Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, yeah. I mean, he's going to be a problem too.
Like I'm looking at his stats right now: 17 carries, 148 yards on the ground.
On the ground,
Not to mention what he did in the passing game.
He had another 70 yards in the air too. He had over 200 yards from scrimmage and 3 touchdowns.
So,
and I know everyone says our D line's our strongest point, but I mean the Chiefs beat the Patriots by running a lot of draws and a lot of off tackles and a lot of delays. Let that pass rush come upfield, and before you know it, Kareem Hunt's got 5 yards before he's even touched.
Yeah, and like I'm just looking at these offensive weapons are scary. And if there's one thing that I like, I'm big Andy Reid fan. I don't know how you feel about the man.
Me too. Love Big Red.
You know, he knows how to use those speedy guys. Like did well with Sean Jackson. He's going to think of something to do with Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill. I feel like they're gonna be tricking us all over the place, or at least trying to. And I don't think the Eagles are ready. But
that's what they did last Thursday against the Patriots, and it worked, man. Travis Kelce took a couple snaps. He lined up in the backfield.
Right.
Tyreek Hill was running fake end arounds every play, or actual end arounds and picking up yards. So
ridiculous.
There's a lot of different schemes that Andy Reid's going to throw at you. So keep the offense off the field. That's crazy to say about the Chiefs.
I know, and you know, with Andy Reid's clock management, anything can really like happen, I guess. But I'm gonna stick with the Birds though. But
I love it. I'm rooting for you in the Pick'em League, then, my man.
I'm giving them 13-10 though.
You can have that win gladly.
Maybe Jake Elliott kicks a game-winning field goal. Who knows?
Goddamn right. Represent that Elliott family. You and Zeke on Sunday.
All right. I have to pick this game next just because last week we didn't talk about them, and I wanted to, and I'm doing it for our boy Zimmerman. Jim Zimmerman, Jiu-Jitsu Jim. He goes by many.
I know where you're going here.
Raiders Jets. It's a 405. I'm going a little out of order because it's a 405 game, and there are some games I want to go back to, but let's do Raiders Jets before I forget. Jets 0-1, Raiders 1-0. See, this isn't a hard decision. I believe Oakland's favored. Yeah, Oakland on ESPN, 91% favored.
And in the Pick'em League, 98% of the public to 2%.
So
I feel like this is one of the most surefire. If you're in a suicide pool out there or eliminator league, this is one of the most surefire picks you're going to get all season. The Jets going all the way out to the West Coast across 3 time zones. There's no way they win that game.
Right. Excuse me.
And I'm cool with that, honestly, because I have Derek Carr and Amari Cooper in a league, and I'm expecting fantasy goodness on Sunday from those two fellas.
I'm very excited because I also have Amari Cooper in one league, and I also have Michael Crabtree in the other. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I cannot wait for it.
Let's have it rain touchdowns in Oakland on Sunday.
Mucho fantasy points there.
Raining from the sky.
Taking a look at the stats from each team's games last week, their top offensive leaders, I should say. Jets, Josh McCown, 187 yards, 2 interceptions. That's pretty much what we're going to get out of Josh McCown.
Yeah, that's pretty much Josh McCown in a nutshell right there.
I know it's only week 2, but I don't see the problem in trying different quarterbacks every week if you're the Jets, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if this stat's exactly right, but I think Josh McCown has like 40-something career starts and like 1,200 interceptions. Don't quote me on that. Now I might be a little off on that.
You might be 1 or 2 off.
It's something like that, though.
All right, so hold on. Let me try. So staying with the Jets on the ground, let me try to get this name right because I always fuck it up when I'm trying to rebuild this team. Bilal Powell.
Bilal.
Bilal Powell.
I don't like saying it. It's one of the worst names in professional sports to say.
So B. Powell had,
Lol.
and that's
Lol. I hate saying
and
lol.
that's like talking to like Eagles fans who has that big V guy who I'm not even gonna pretend to know what his last name is.
I would rather say Halapulita. Oh yeah, I'm not even gonna try. Fuck that one up.
Exactly. So,
Vaitai. I know Vaitai.
Yes. So, Powell had 7 carries, 22 yards.
B pal.
7 carries, 22 yards. I mean, I can't remember the game, but I felt like they were probably down the whole time and just abandoned the run.
Yeah, for the most part, and whenever they were running, the ball wasn't really going well for them.
And then their leading receiver was that hot new receiver they just acquired from the Seahawks, Jermaine Kearse, 7 catches, 59 yards, no TDs. They need to sort.
There's gonna be a lot of those lines for Jermaine Kearse. 50 yards, no touchdowns. That's about the kind of player he is.
They need to sort their shit out. Moving on to the happier side of things, Derek Carr of the Raiders, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns. Well done.
He looks like the real deal, man. He is.
Yeah, man.
He is confident. He is calm back there, and he's got weapons galore around him.
Oh, God, he's very fortunate, man. I am telling you. Marshawn
and in beast mode, Mr. Skittles came back and looked good week 1.
He did. 18 carries, 76 yards. I don't know what he did through the air. I don't think he
called a pass.
He didn't catch a pass, right? Didn't think so. But 18 carries, 76 yards in your first game. I mean, they're giving you the ball a lot. You get 76 yards. I mean,
there were some hard yards too. He ran a couple people over. He slipped through some holes that shouldn't have been there.
It's exactly what they want him to do.
Yeah.
But then leading receiver, Michael Crabtree, 6 catches, 83 yards, no touchdowns. The Jets have no chance in this game.
No, they don't.
There's really not much else to say. I know.
You put Joe Namath under center, and they still probably lose that game on Sunday.
There's no weapons on the Jets. There's absolutely no. Like again, their receivers are who now? Jermaine Kearse and who else? Like, come on.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson. Yay.
Yeah, right. So I know you got them in your pick'em. I know I got them in my pick'em. How bad do you think this game is going to be? What's your final score here?
I say the Jets do somehow get on the board and score 6 points. And I say 37 for the Raiders. 37-6 Raiders.
Oh, man. All right. So, wait, is that 2 field goals or is that a touchdown?
That's 2 field goals. That's 2 field goals for the Jets.
You're not being
that's early in the game and they think they have a chance. They're down like 10-0. They'll be like, oh, we'll kick a field goal instead of going for it on 4th down. Next thing you know, they're down 31-7. They're 31-3.
So I'm gonna say, and this is gonna please probably a lot of people who have Amari Cooper, who have Michael Crabtree, Marshawn Lynch, Derek Carr, all those guys. I'm going to say this is going to be Derek Carr's best game of his career.
Oh, I love it.
And him and the Raiders are going to dismantle the Jets 42-0.
Oh, baby.
I'm not giving the Jets a
42-0.
42-0. That's 7 touchdowns right there. Not giving.
I really hope you're Confucius come Sunday because if both of these predictions hit, I'm going to be a happy man.
I need those predictions to hit, and I need both those receivers to go apeshit because the next guy we're going to talk about didn't go apeshit all last week and pretty much sealed my fate in one of my fantasy leagues. But this game,
talking about the GOAT?
Yeah, I'm talking about the GOAT. This game's going to be
I knew it.
This week. It's going to be the Patriots and the Saints in New Orleans.
This should be the highest scoring game by a long shot this week.
It being in New Orleans makes a big deal. You know, there are some tough places to play, and we didn't mention this in the Eagles one, but the Arrowhead Stadium, one of the toughest places to play. New Orleans, same business. Probably even tougher than Arrowhead, in my opinion.
Yeah, the dome gets loud.
The dome gets very loud, and this is going to be. Was it last year when the Saints played the Giants and they had that freaking unbelievable shootout? It was like 50-something to 40-something by the end of it. I can't remember if it was last year, but
this year or 2 years ago. Yeah, I don't remember either, but that game was absurd.
it was unbelievable. I think this has the potential to be just that.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't see why not. But both defenses, well, the Saints in particular, are god awful. They're egregious.
Well, they got handled by Sammy Sleeves last week, and not gonna lie,
Fucking Sam Bradford looking like Joe Montana. Yeah, Tom Brady's gonna pick them apart too.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the stats here, I don't want to say Tom Brady's because all you need to know is he threw for 267 yards. You're not missing anything else.
Yeah, nothing else.
Nothing else. Which, I mean, and I've asked this question to big football fans this past week. When's the last time that you remember Tom Brady not throwing a touchdown pass in a game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to rack my mind on that.
I think it was when he got injured for the year. What was it?
Like 6 years ago?
Yeah. I can't believe it's 6 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday.
When the Matt Castle year, baby, the Matt Castle era.
Right. Mike Gillislee, 15 carries, 45 yards, 3 touchdowns. He vultured those fantasy points last week.
Yeah, he sure did. Belichick gives little fucks about people's fantasy teams, unfortunately.
He's really immature when it comes to fantasy football.
Yeah, you're goddamn right, Bill Belichick. Grow up.
He's like, seriously, grow the fuck up.
Grow the fuck up, Bill.
Danny
Amendola. Stupid fucking hoodies. Dress like an adult.
Dude, it's like 90 degrees out. What do you need that for?
Dress like a goddamn adult, Bill.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Go by William Belichick.
They're gonna freaking kick up the heater at the stadium just so you can like sweat his balls off in that hoodie. Dude, it's so bad. Danny Amendola, 6 catches, 100 yards, no TDs. Is he injured?
He has a concussion and has yet to clear the protocol, and
he is out.
If he doesn't do that, I think by Saturday, like I don't think you can clear it Sunday morning and still play. Like I think you have to clear the day in advance. So
right.
He doesn't clear today, so he's down. I'm pretty sure he's doubtful.
Yeah, I'm looking at the injury report. It says he's out right now. I don't know if the ESPN can change that or if that's like the official status.
Yeah, he might already be confirmed as out. I don't see why they would play him. You don't risk a concussion.
Which really fucks me up even more. Anyway, moving to the Saints. Can't remember the final score on Monday night, but from the looks of it doesn't look like they had too much of an offense. Drew Brees, 291 yards, 1 touchdown. Adrian Peterson led the team in rushing with 6 carries, 18 yards.
Jesus.
Yeah.
18 yards led them in rushing?
Yes, 18 yards led them in rushing.
Oof, that's ugly.
That's not good. And when it's Adrian Peterson, it's not. See, now, I mean, we might as well talk about it. I don't know if you caught some of the Monday night game, but Adrian Peterson was not happy with old Sean Payton.
He certainly did not look happy. He said after the game they had no problems, but you could tell he was pissed about not getting the ball on the goal line there.
He was going a little TO on Sean Payton, just a tad bit.
I honestly don't blame him though. Like,
well, so like, what do you do?
He's the best running back of our generation.
Okay.
Let him take that carry in Minnesota.
But what do you do in this situation? You have Mark Ingram, you have Adrian Peterson. You feel like Adrian Peterson's a little past his prime. You might want to go with Mark Ingram, but the thing is, they didn't really dedicate themselves to one of those two because
they also gave that rookie Alvin Kamara a bunch of carries. They like him.
Like they really did. Like we talk about running back by committee. I mean, the Saints really like demonstrated it, and it didn't go well for them.
No, it did not. Sean Payton's got a decision to make, I think. You got to let – Adrian Peterson was one of those guys that would grind out 2 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, and then break a 55-yarder.
Right. So they need to figure that out. Not that they'll need their running backs that much this week. I feel like this is just going to be a pass-heavy game, especially when you have those two quarterbacks. And then Colby Fleener receiving 5 catches, 54 yards, and the 1 touchdown that Drew Brees threw. So,
yes.
So, offensive weapon-wise, I mean, I guess you'd have to go with the Saints just because of the injury bug that is New England right now. Would you agree, disagree? How do you – who has the most more effective weapon, I would say?
Ooh, I would say it's about even right now.
It really is. Because Colby Fleener, I don't drop my jaw over.
No, he's not that great. He's super athletic, but he's got hands of stone. I've seen that dude run a perfect route, get open 30 yards downfield. Drew Brees hit him in the hands and he drops it.
Right.
But I do like Michael Thomas. I mean, Brandon Coleman looks good. Ted Ginn. They'll eventually get Willie Snead back. Honestly, not having Willie Snead for them, I think, is a big loss. That kid's underrated. And the Patriots, while their wide receivers are so thin right now, it's unbelievable how thin their wide receiver corp is. They have running backs that they just pull out of their ass. Like, watch, Sunday, either Deion Lewis or Rex Burkhead will have like 7 catches for 70 yards out of the backfield.
Right.
Like that's just what Bill Belichick does. Deion Lewis will have 80 yards this week and a touchdown.
Jesus Christ. Looking at the matchup predictor, it's close. This is the closest one we've talked about. 58% are going with New England, 41% going with New Orleans.
That's ESPN's like projected winning percentage, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the public is overwhelmingly New England on it. They got 90% of the public has picked New England.
Yeah. So who did you pick in your pick'em?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know if I want to give that away to you.
Oh, okay. No, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I picked the Patriots as well. I don't see them losing 2 straight. I just think they're too well coached. Even in New Orleans, they'll find a way to win that game.
I also picked the Patriots. I agree with you. I'm kind of I probably picked them just because I want Tom Brady to do well finally. Let's hear your whopping score for this game.
I don't think either team gets into the 50s like that Saints Giants shootout a couple years ago, but I'm going to say it's like, let's say 38-28 Patriots.
38-28 Patriots. So the last time they were demolished the way they were last week, they came back and dismantled, I forget who, but they came back with a vengeance, a fury. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I'm going to stick in the 30s with you, but I'll say 38-35, but Brady throws 5 touchdown passes. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because he's on my fantasy team. I don't think Mike Gillislee is going to score 3 touchdowns this week. I just don't. I don't know how. I think Gronk probably scores like 3 of those, and then Brandon Cooks finally gets like a touchdown, maybe 2.
Yeah, I think they'll have their big plays to get him into the end zone. But if they don't get into the end zone on those big plays, Bill Belichick loves running the ball in the red zone. So I think they're bound to at least rush 1 or 2 in.
Whatever, dude. He does not run that ball.
Maybe Brady will just sneak him in. You get 2 extra points for a rushing touchdown.
That's fine. Whatever.
Tom Brady, 5 rushing touchdowns on
Brady
Sunday.
running it in. I don't care. Brady, get Brady 100 yards rushing. That's fine.
5 rushing TDs. Number 1 running back, Tom Brady.
All right. That'd be great. Vikings Steelers. This is very intriguing to me. I don't have anyone necessarily on either team, but
I have Martavis Bryant, and I'm
How did he do last?
I'm not well, surprisingly. He didn't look that great. He wasn't out on the field a whole lot.
Well,
I mean, it's his first game back after a year off.
Exactly.
So I'm a little trepidatious about starting him on Sunday.
Depending on who your options are. By the way, we forgot to do our fantasy advice for one of these games. If you're looking for a defense, guys, be sure to pick up, if you can, the Raiders defense.
The
Raiders defense. That is what I did in one of my leagues. And then the other league, Dana smartly dropped the Chiefs defense for the Raiders defense. So I had to pick up whoever's playing the Browns, and that is the Ravens. So I'm looking pretty good defense-wise this week.
And the Ravens shut down last week, too.
Yep.
They had a whole bunch of fantasy points. Yeah, unfortunately, the Raiders are owned in both of my leagues, so I went and picked up the Los Angeles Chargers.
Ooh, I thought you were going to say Rams.
That's my little sneaky defense this week. They're playing the Dolphins in Los Angeles. Dolphins have to come all the way out to the West Coast, and it's their first game of the season with a new quarterback in Jay Cutler. I think they're going to look sloppy. I think the Chargers are going to pick a couple passes off on Sunday. God
damn, that's
next level thinking
right there.
Next level thinking shit right there, Mike Butler.
This is why we have Jared on the show, everyone. Because I'm
that kind of shit. Trying to talk. I love the chalk, baby.
So yeah, Vikings Steelers. I think this game is going to be closer than some people think. I'm looking at offensive stats right now, and man, I'm looking at Sam Bradford, and I just want to kill him. I really do.
They're a little skewed because they played the Saints. I would hope Carson Wentz would have similar numbers against the Saints.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But
you would hope, but man, Sam Bradford did look legitimately good on Monday night.
Had no interceptions, none, 0. He has more touchdowns than Tom Brady.
Yeah, 0 interceptions and like no stupid passes either. Nothing that could have been picked. Everything when he didn't have anything, he was dumping off. And he looked unbelievable.
He looked like the number 1 pick that the Rams drafted, but.
Yeah, he really did. He looked like that Heisman winner in 2009.
So he threw for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's insane.
I'm pretty sure I couldn't do that with Sam Bradford in Madden. On easy.
Yeah, with all the with all the fucking shit all the way up. What are they called?
The sliders?
Yeah, the sliders. There you go. All that up? No, you can't.
I still couldn't do. I'd still probably throw 2 or 3 picks with them.
Exactly. So he also made some. I don't know if they're nobodies to you, but they're sure as shit nobodies to me. Look like somebodies. I'm not talking about the rookie Dalvin Cook because a lot of hype with him. 22 carries, 127 yards. Didn't get in the end zone, but 127 yards. Goddamn.
Broke the guy who was in the building's rookie rushing record.
Yep.
Mr. Peterson across the sideline. He said,
that's
"Oh, there goes your record, AP."
Yeah, that's just terrible. Oh man.
But were you sleeping on a one Mr. Stephon Diggs?
I wasn't sleeping on him. He wasn't even the leading receiver, bro. That's not who. That's not. I'm talking.
Hooked on the ceiling?
Yeah.
Mike Butler, are you hooked on the ceiling?
I'm not hooked on him, but 9 catches, 157 yards. Like, what pisses me off is that I was going to pick him up because he was a free agent in one of my leagues. And then what pisses me off even more is that he would have been benched in one of my leagues.
Yeah, honestly, he was probably started in 2% of fantasy leagues across the spectrum of fantasy players, and of those leagues, there are probably like 16-team leagues, 20-team leagues, like crazy leagues where you have to start players like that.
Right. But Vikings, unbelievable. And then on the Steelers side, Roethlisberger, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Le'Veon Bell, 10 carries, 32 yards. And then
can I just pat myself on the back a little bit for
go ahead
for saying the Browns are going to stay in that Steelers game last week?
I love it.
Told you they were going to do everything they could.
I loved it.
But I think the Steelers right the ship this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, they did everything they could with Le'Veon Bell because Antonio Brown, granted, didn't get in the end zone. My man had 11 catches, 182 yards.
That dude seriously can't be covered.
He can't. There's no.
I feel like he's open every play, and the plays he's not open, if you throw it in his what they call catch radius,
yes,
most likely he's still going to catch it.
The dude's ridiculous.
He's special.
Yeah. So, looking at the injury report, moving on. For the Steelers, nobody serious. A couple guys questionable. J.J. Wilcox, a safety. Stephon Tuitt, defensive end. And then a couple other guys that I don't even think start.
Yeah, Tuitt's a good player. That would actually be a big loss. They actually just gave him a big extension. They gave him like a 5-year, $60 million extension or something.
So he's questionable. And then some defensive questionables for the Vikings. Xavier Rhodes, who pretty sure he holds a record for longest return for a touchdown. It might not be an interception. It might be one of those missed field goals. But I know he has a long one under his belt.
I think it's an interception.
It is an interception. Well,
yeah, I think the longest missed return was Antonio Cromartie when he caught it with his feet up against the back line of his own end zone.
Yeah, like
109.5 yards.
Would have to be that, right?
Yeah, so I think Rhodes took one back from deep in his own end zone. Took a pick back deep from his own end zone.
So Rhodes is questionable. They got the linebacker Anthony Barr questionable, and stop me if you've heard this one. Sam Bradford on the injury report as questionable.
What?
Probably nothing serious, but
he'll play. Yeah, he's probably listed on the injury report most weeks.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
he'll play 16 games, and 14 of them he'll be on the injury report for.
If he plays 16 games, then that's
he did. Hey, he did last year.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So then you got Steelers favored to win by like 30%, pretty much. They got.
I'm glad you picked this game. This is an interesting one.
It really is. Like, as much as it's like Pittsburgh 63%, Minnesota 35%. I feel like this game could go either way.
The public has overwhelmingly picked the Steelers as well. 75%
Overwhelmingly.
picked the Steelers.
Wow.
Yeah, three quarters of the population. I do have the Steelers in this game. I assume you're getting to the picks. I do have the Steelers. I think they right the ship. I just think they play so much better in Hines. They're a completely different football team there. It's crazy.
I believe I also have the Steelers in this game. But what is your final prediction for this? Because this is close. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I say the Steelers offense gets it together and they win 27-20.
27-20. I'm going 23-20. Steelers. And as far as like a bold prediction for this, I mean, can you have a bold? I think Le'Veon Bell gets back on track. I think he sees the end zone a couple times.
We won't call that bold. We'll just call that a prediction.
Right. We'll call it a prediction. Just because he only had 32 yards last week, I think he's going to have a bigger game this week.
I say Chris Boswell hits 4 field goals.
Nice.
That's my bold prediction. I'm going kickers all day. Chris Boswell, baby.
If Chris Boswell hits 4 field goals from like 50-plus yards, I'm all right with that.
You're buying me a beer, baby.
I mean, you know, nobody has him on his fantasy team or anything. Anyway, so we didn't get a chance to talk about these two teams last week because of their unexpected bye week, but we're going to talk about the Buccaneers and the Dolphins, and then we'll move on to the primetime games. So with the Buccaneers, they're facing the Bears, who shocked maybe the world, I think. Not that they didn't win, but
they were 3 yards away from winning that game. They had 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line.
Right, and if it wasn't for that stingy Atlanta defensive line, who knows? What'd you think of the Bears last week?
I mean, I thought they looked way better than I thought they would.
Yeah.
But I also thought the Falcons looked way worse than I thought they would.
Yes. You had Tariq Cohen. Who? I said Tariq Cohen. Who? Yeah.
Who?
He tore it up through the air, and he did very well on the ground. 5 carries, 66 yards. 5 carries, 66 yards. That's like
he broke a couple big ones. He's
right.
He honestly might be a little Sproles or a little Woodhead in their prime, or a little Theo Riddick. Like he has that high of upside, and the Bears, having already lost Cam Meredith in the preseason for the entire season, lost Kevin White in week 1 with a broken collarbone for the season. They literally have the weakest wide receiver group I've seen on an NFL team in years. It might be worse than the Jets.
Fantasy football alert.
They have Kendall Wright and a prayer. Pick up Tariq Cohen in PPR especially. I wouldn't throw him in your lineup right away. I would like to see how he does with a little more attention on him.
Sorry.
But I feel like the Bears are going to have to call plays for the kid. He might be small as hell. As hell, but he's exciting. Put the ball in his hands.
Give me a sec here. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm saying. I picked him up, and I put him in my starting lineup, actually, with Mark Ingram, because my other options were Joe Mixon, who scored 5 points with a whopping 36 yards on Thursday, and then Darren Sproles. So I'm kind of in a fucking shitty position, and I just put him in there anyway.
Yeah, you're hurting for running backs. I would play Cohen and Ingram as well.
Yeah, so he led the team in rushing with 5 carries, 66 yards. And we'll go down to the receiving leader, and it is a one. Let me try to pronounce this right. Tariq Cohen. Who? I said Tariq
Cohen. He also fun fact. Jordan Howard, who is the Bears starting running back, had a rushing touchdown. That play, who handed him the ball?
Was it?
To who? Tariq
Who?
Cohen.
Tariq Cohen?
It was Tariq Cohen out of the Wildcat, hands Jordan Howard the ball, and they scored a touchdown. I feel like the Bears are going to have to run trick plays like that to score the ball. So
8 catches, 47 yards, and a TD to his credit. So over 100 yards total offense. You know what? I'm feeling okay.
Including trucking a guy who was probably 4 inches and 50 pounds heavier than him to get into the end zone.
Right. So once again,
straight ran a guy over. I love when little dudes run a guy over.
Awesome, dude. It's awesome.
Maurice Jones-Drew, one of my favorite players ever, because he used to do that shit.
Unreal.
5'9" versus 6'3", big tree fall hard.
You know what I used to love? Fucking who was it? Lito Shepherd, the old cornerback for the Eagles. Son of a bitch. He wasn't that big. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was like.
Lito or Sheldon?
Lito. I'm talking Lito. Sheldon was a big hitter. Lito, he had his fair share of hits too. And I always remember watching him. And anytime he'd lay down a big hit, I'd be like, what the fuck is he doing? Because they looked nasty. Maybe like
because he was so small, but he was just moving so fast. Yeah. Like a violent car crash.
Exactly.
God, I miss those days, Mike. Can we have Sheldon and Lito back, please?
I tell you, I'm killing for him.
God, kill for him.
So, obviously, no offensive stats for the Bucks. Also, Mike Lennon, 213 yards, 1 touchdown. All right. So.
And he's playing the team that had no faith in him, and obviously did the smart thing and drafted Jameis Winston. You don't pass on a guy like that because you have Mike Lennon on your roster, but Mike Lennon's gonna have a little fire in him for this game, I think.
I agree with you, 100%. So what do you expect out of this Tampa Bay offense? I mean, Jameis Winston obviously is going to crush it. The big thing here is Jaquiz Rodgers and the whole Doug Martin suspension and how he's going to play. And then that wide receiver tandem, I'm going to call it a tandem because I think this is exactly what it's going to be. They're going to be dangerous. Micah Evans to Deshaun Jackson.
And they got some depth there. There's a kid named Adam Humphries who might steal in you a little bit because he's a little underrated. He had a lot of catches last year. And they drafted a kid that I followed from Penn State named Chris Godwin, who is just absurdly fast as well.
They drafted him. I'm a big Penn State guy, man.
Yeah, they drafted Chris Godwin, I believe, in the 4th round, and he might not be involved early. And to answer your original question of how I think the Bucs offense is going to do on the season, they're going to be right up there with the top of the teams. But always a little skeptical when a team plays their first game of the season. Sure. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be bugs to work out. These guys have played no more than 2 quarters of football together in the preseason, if that.
Yeah.
And that was including when they had Doug Martin in the preseason. So I think their offense is going to be a little out of whack on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, Jameis Winston, I think he's going to have a breakout year. I think
he's going to have a monster year. Like, you look at the end of the season, even excluding a bad game or two, Tampa will be a top 5 offense, I think.
Absolutely. Injury report-wise, Tampa Bay, nothing of note.
Besides the Dougie Martin suspension.
Bears, they have some notables on theirs this week. All questionable, but they have some notables.
Including starting running back Jordan Howard, I assume.
First name on the list right there, Jordan Howard.
That's a late addition. I'm a little worried about that, seeing as how he was my first round pick in one of my fantasy leagues.
And you're gonna hate to hear this, but if he needs a break or if he needs time to like rest up, whatever's going on, I think he could let Tariq Cohen just Who? I said Tariq. What? Tariq Cohen. I think he could just hand it over to Tariq. Who? Tariq Cohen. And Just give him the rock for a game. Whatever. Anyway, so Jordan Howard.
I don't know if I agree with that.
So Jordan Howard's questionable, and then we're looking at this is a big one. Prince Amukamara is questionable. I'm assuming it's their top cornerback.
Yeah, he was a big free agent signing for him last year.
Right, he's questionable, and Marcus Wheaton, wide receiver. It's just that goes under damn, you are already limited to weapons, and
but you already have to have Marcus Wheaton on your team, who would have gotten cut from the Steelers this year. And he probably would have been your number 2 wide receiver, and he might not play. Lots of luck, Chicago.
Yeah. And then another receiver, Josh Bellamy, who I think I might have heard of before, but
he's probably a special teams player. You probably saw him make a tackle on a punt return once, and you're like, yeah, Bellamy, nice tackle.
I know that one. I know that guy. So Tampa Bay, 76% in the matchup predictor. I have them in my pick'ems as well.
They are 90% picked by the public.
I love how you're firing off these public stats. I really, really, really appreciated that.
You are in the Pigskin Pick'em League. You have access to this page as well.
I do, but I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out.
This is insider information.
Right now, I'm just picking.
You did miss Thursday. You did miss Thursday's pick, I think.
I missed Thursdays 2 weeks in a row. Right. But I gotta get on top of that. But all my picks are in.
I still think you're tied for second place. Hey, it's a long season.
Yeah, it's a long season. You're right. So like I said, 76%. What are you thinking here? I mean, Tampa Bay wins it?
Yeah, I still think that the Bucs are able to pull it out.
All right.
Even looking a little sloppy. I still say they get into the end zone a couple times.
Okay.
Deshaun will probably catch a big one, unfortunately.
Not the biggest Deshaun guy.
Not a big fan of that man, but the football player is very good. The football player Deshaun is very good.
Right.
The personal Deshaun we don't need to talk about. This is chalked up.
This is chalked up. You are right.
This isn't fucking dickhead, douchebag, immature asshole. I say the Bucs win it 20-10. Nice round numbers.
I like that score. I think you're on something with that. Now, can I ask? Am I allowed to pick one team in the pick-em, but say somebody completely different right now?
You're absolutely allowed to do that.
All right, because I'm going to pick Tampa Bay in the pick-em, but just because I'm riding on this Bears offense right now, this dynamite Bears offense, I am gonna. That was complete sarcasm, by the way, guys. Bears have a dynamite offense or anything, but I am gonna say I think the Bears might squeak one out here.
Oh, I like it. Go out on a limb for the big upset. I like it.
I think the Bears are gonna win 17-14, and Tariq Cohen. Who? Tariq Cohen.
Who?
Tariq Cohen.
Who?
Scores a touchdown, maybe 50 yards receiving and 40 yards rushing. 17-14 Bears.
I mean, you're talking me into starting this man on Sunday.
I mean, now Jordan Howard's questionable, so whatever.
I mean, if Tariq Cohen has 2 fantasy points, I might be come knocking on your door.
There we go. That's it. So we got 3 games left here. Kind of have to talk about them. Don't really want to talk about them, but we're going to talk about them. It's probably going to be a good game. Cowboys at Denver, at the Broncos. Cowboys didn't look Cowboys didn't look too impressive last week. The Giants defense scored 0 in fantasy, which I'm still like, this is my third year in fantasy. I'm still trying to figure out the point system for defenses, and I thought the defense played well. I don't know exactly how many yards they allowed or whatever, but, well, I see Dak Prescott threw for 268 yards and a touchdown, so that probably killed him a little bit.
Yeah, there's like a certain threshold of points that you give up that you go back to zero. So if they didn't get a single sack, which is usually worth a point or two, an interception is usually worth 2 points. If they didn't get a single turnover or sack, then you're usually looking at a zero, even if a team only scores 21 points.
See, there you go. There you go. You're clearing it up for me, Jared, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. That's what I got paid for.
That's right.
You're paying me, right?
So anyway, so it's in Denver. It's another tough place to play, Mile High Stadium. Is it still called Mile High?
It is.
Yeah, I feel like it still is.
Yeah, it'll always be Mile High. Too iconic.
Yeah. Denver's offense didn't look terrible. Trevor Siemian, I actually thought did better than what I was expecting last week.
Me as well, although he had a couple big turnovers late in that game that could have cost them.
I feel like Paxton Lynch is – I feel like it's Paxton Lynch's team, even though he's not starting. Like, I feel like it's just a matter of time.
Eventually, I feel like that's the long-term goal. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe this kid Paxton Lynch is just doesn't have the tools for it. He looks like he does. He's big. He's got the arm, but
yeah.
If Trevor Siemian, who's pretty unimpressive, keeps winning the job over him, like,
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe he's Brady Quinn, or maybe he's Jimmy Clausen.
Oh man.
Like guys that were huge, or maybe he's Matt Leinart, like guys that were huge prospects, but like never even got a full season to play because they just weren't good enough for it.
Hey, Jimmy Clausen is killing it in the American Flag Football League right now. I'm just.
Is he really?
No, not really. He actually sucks. I watched.
Wait, he's in the American Flag Football League?
I watched a game. It was Team Owens versus Team Vic, and he was still throwing interceptions. It was unreal.
This is insider information. You want to talk about digging deep? Jimmy Clausen playing American Flag Football. That's amazing.
Yeah, T.O. was
second fun fact, second quarterback drafted behind Sam Bradford in that draft, Jimmy Clausen.
Fun fact, he, in the American Flag Football game, in this game that I watched, got benched by one Josh Johnson. Does that name ring a bell?
Yeah. Ex-Tampa Bay Bucs backup quarterback.
Yeah, Michael Vick threw 8 touchdowns, by the way. But this isn't AFFL or whatever. This is NFL.
I mean,
but I'm just saying.
Stay tuned for that, folks. Yeah. So we will talk American Flag Football.
Yes, soon. For all you diehard flag football.
Full 2 hours dedicated to Jimmy Clausen.
He's a real top talent. So, yeah, Dak Prescott, 268 yards, a touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, 24 carries, 104 yards. Terrence Williams, 6 catches, 68 yards. I'm assuming Dez Bryant – no, it was Jason Witten who had that touchdown from Dak.
Yeah, Jay Witt.
Trevor Siemian, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 219 yards. C.J. Anderson, 20 carries, 81 yards. Demaryius Thomas, 5 catches, 67 yards. Those are your offensive leaders from last week for each team.
And not mentioned in that quick line is Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles
getting 10 carries, surprisingly, 10 full carries and busting off for 40 yards. It's not an awful average.
Not terrible.
Looked pretty explosive. They can work him back into the offense.
He's going to be a big play. Like
the Jamal Charles is dead train. I'm not on that train. I think he's still got. He can't be an every down back like he used to be. So it's a good thing C.J. Anderson's there, but he's still good for a couple big plays this year. You watch.
He complements that team very well.
Very well, yes.
So, matchup predictor, we got 55% are going with Dallas, 44 with Denver. And I haven't really disagreed with this little predictor here, but this is the one I'm going to disagree with.
Oh.
Denver scares me. I like their defense. I don't think Dallas is going to do much with that, facing that defense. I could be.
Yeah, I can see that. I also think the same can be said the other way around, though. Like, I'm not extremely confident in Denver's offense moving the ball on the Cowboys defense. Not that the Cowboys defense is great, but man, is the Giants offense that much worse than the Broncos?
No, the Giants. Well, see,
and they didn't have Beckham, I know, which throws everything off. But like, I don't see the Broncos scoring a lot of points either.
The whole thing is though, and that was the big excuse for the Giants. And I don't mean to shit on the Giants, even though they're a rival team. Like, okay, you lose Odell Beckham. Okay, I understand that's a big loss, but you have Brandon Marshall, who I think is a very good receiver, and you can't get
probably going to make the Hall of Fame one day. B. Marsh.
Like, was his final stat line last week that he didn't have one catch?
1 target, 0 catches.
0 catches. Yeah. See,
Sterling Shepard, who looked like a promising rookie last year. Evan Ingram, who's a freak of nature, athletically at least. It's just their offensive line is just atrocious. That's their big problem. Like, yeah. I thought coming into the season the Giants were going to scare the Eagles a couple times. I feel like the Eagles are going to be all over Eli every time we play the Giants. I feel like there's no way they stop our pass rush.
It looks like it, man. It really, really does. But that's the preview for next week's show.
That's Giants game. We ain't talking Giants yet.
That's Giants week, baby.
Cowboys Bronx.
Cowboys Bronx. Yeah. See, I'm looking at my pick'em. I picked Denver. I'm not confident that Dallas wins this one in Denver.
68% of the public has picked the Cowboys. Isn't surprising. I feel like even in games where the Cowboys are the heavy underdog, they're still the favorite by popular pick, just because of how many fucking Cowboys fans are out there.
Bro, they're America's team.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck that. So
they could be Donald Trump's team. They could be that America's team. You can have them. Let's fucking deport the Cowboys. Hashtag deport Cowboys.
Build that wall.
Build that wall right around Dallas.
In all seriousness, though, it seems like Donald Trump built that wall and named it the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, because that line is just insane. Ezekiel Elliott's insane. That's probably going to be their one real big saving grace in this game is Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, that's kind of why I think they win this game. Unfortunately, this is where we split. I'm picking the Cowboys in this. As much as that hurts me, I think they go into Denver and just control time of possession. Like, don't even let Simeon and Demaryius Thomas give them a chance to beat them. Like, I feel like they win this. I feel like they win this game 17-10.
I am going 21-14 Broncos.
All right. I mean, I can see it either way. That's a good game to talk about.
Yeah. We only differed on one game last week, and that was the Packers and the Seahawks. And I'm sorry, did you pick the Seahawks?
I did pick the Seahawks. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, because they look really bad too.
You weren't thinking that the first half was going to be no points whatsoever.
0-0. I was not thinking that.
Shocked. 49ers face the Seahawks this week. That's a rivalry game. Seahawks, I expect to crush it. We won't spend a lot of time on that.
Nah, yeah.
Seahawks are going to just kill it. It's in Seattle. Like, come on.
Even if the Seahawks don't score a lot of points, Brian Hoyer could not move the ball against the Panthers last week. He's not going to move the ball against Seattle. Seattle wins. Seattle wins 27-6.
Dude, I'll go somewhere around there. I'll give the Niners like 6 points. I'll give Seattle like 38.
All right. Well, yeah, let's see it.
Dana likes to hear that since she has Russell Wilson.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I would like to have Russell Wilson in my bed. Nailed it.
That's all Sierra. So moving on to the primetime games this week. Packers Falcons. Good one.
It's a good one.
Love it.
It's a great one.
Love it. Can't wait to not watch it. Fucking Wawa.
Agreed. I will not be watching it either. I have a concert to go to.
Packers Falcons.
Here now. Follow those guys on Twitter. I'll shout out my buddy's band. Here now.
Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, 2 fantasy studs. This is a tough game to really pick, man. This is probably going to be – I wouldn't be surprised if this was an NFC Championship game again.
How does the ESPN predictor have it?
Not as close as I thought it would. They're going 58% Atlanta, 41% Green Bay.
All right, that's where the public differs. The public has 55% Packers.
And, I think that's I trust Aaron Rodgers more than Matt Ryan thing.
And I think people might be a little nervous because of how the Falcons performed last week, but I wouldn't buy too much into that.
I think it's like the public, if I can call them that, they're having a hard time committing to Matt Ryan. Aaron Rodgers has always been there for him, like a real good boyfriend. But
yeah,
Matt Ryan's trying, but they're just not ready to commit. Well, maybe this will help. Aaron Rodgers last week, 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Matt Ryan, 321 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. In a close game that Atlanta played, and it probably shouldn't have been close, but it was close, he didn't turn the ball over. Which is more
it's in that brand spanking new $1 billion stadium in Atlanta.
This is the opening. So
yep.
I think Atlanta is going to be hyped, and I think I picked Atlanta. I might have picked Green Bay actually.
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, calm down, everyone, calm down. I did pick Green Bay in this one. I'm probably one of the public that is not ready to commit to Matt Ryan yet. Yeah, I'm okay with Aaron Rodgers going into, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, is it?
I do believe it's Mercedes-Benz, yeah.
And just spoiling that home opening.
There is a lot of pressure on the Falcons to show up.
And I did say last week that Atlanta was going to have their Super Bowl hangover, and I think it's going to start this week. I'm going to say it. Granted, I predicted them to go, I think 1 game worse than they did last year. That's still a hangover. It's still a hangover.
You got a little worse.
Ty Montgomery, 19 carries, 54 yards, a touchdown. Randall Cobb, 9 catches, 85 yards, no touchdowns. And how about this? Who is this Austin Hooper motherfucker, and why is he taking all of Julio Jones' yards?
I have Austin Hooper on both my teams.
Did you start him?
I did not start him in either league. 2
catches, 128 yards. One of those catches is a touchdown.
Was like an 80-something yard touchdown as well.
That's a fluke.
So it was two big plays. Although that kid's good. He's the real deal. I started Zach Ertz and Delaney Walker, so I got my points where I needed them.
So this
in my 2 leagues, but I think him and Julio and maybe even Taylor Gabriel feast up on the Packers secondary on Sunday.
So I'm sorry for our fantasy listeners out there. Austin Hooper's not even a receiver. He's a freaking tight end.
He's a tight end.
Yards. See, that's not cool. But
the longest tight end reception in like 9 years or something.
So, fantasy advice for myself and anybody else who has Julio Jones: don't worry. Julio Jones is going to get back on track. I feel like this week.
It's not like he had a bad game. I still think he had 90 yards, bunch of catches.
He did work. He did work.
But I think this is the week he lights it up again. I believe did he have his 300-yard game against the Packers last year?
Oh, it could have been.
I know they played him, but even if it wasn't, I know his numbers have always been spectacular against the Packers. The Packers cornerbacks are Demorius Randall and Devon House, two guys that I don't think can keep up with Julio in the least. I think the Falcons hold ground at home.
Very good. Nothing of note on the injury report. Haven't even heard of a lot of these guys, so we won't get into that. Yeah, I'm going to go Packers, though. I think it's going to go 38-35 Packers because both offenses are pretty damn good. And I'm just a homer for all you fantasy folks out there and want you all to do well. I'm going 38-35 Green Bay.
I like it. I think the game's a little more slowed down this week. I think the Packers realized their offensive line was kind of in shambles for the most part of last week.
Yeah.
And they slow it down. And Sunday night game, I say 24-17 Atlanta Falcons.
All right. I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on to our final game of the evening. Giants-Lions Monday Night Football in the Meadowlands. And this is another one that I think will be it'll be tough. It'll be tough. Stafford did work last week. 4 touchdowns, 292 yards. Did have an interception, but 4 touchdowns? Matt Stafford has always been that guy hasn't really been talked about, in my opinion. But the man's good.
Man's very good. He's always been on that cusp of that first tier of quarterbacks, and I mean he just got paid. I think he just became the highest paid quarterback in football, highest paid player in football.
I believe so. I mean,
a couple weeks ago, it's either him or Derek Carr.
Yeah, I know Derek Carr got that big contract. I didn't know if Matt Stafford got that after him or not.
Yeah, he did. He definitely got it after him. I don't know if it surpassed Carr's contract. Either way, the Lions made a smart decision, locking him down.
Absolutely, 100%.
And he's got weapons, man. Golden Tate's good. Golden Tate is so underrated as well, man. That dude catches 10 balls seemingly every week.
So, all right. So I have a very interesting take on Golden Tate, and it's the complete opposite of what you just said.
Oh yeah.
I don't see how he's good. I think he's still living off of the high of that Hail Mary in Seattle from a couple years ago. Ever since then, he's been putting up numbers. And I'm waiting for the week for it to stop. However, I hope that week is like next year because I do have him in one of my fantasy leagues. And I want him to do well. But I don't think he's as good as a lot of people say, and I don't think he's as good as he says. I know he's a cocky little bitch.
He is pretty cocky. That's pretty typical of the Notre Dame crew. But he's backed it up over the last couple years, man. He had a whole lot of catches last year, like an unbelievable amount of catches. And the way Detroit works him in, like I don't see how that won't continue this year. Right. I'll take 10 catches for 80 yards.
Yeah. See, I just remember him being all pumped up after that catch or quote unquote catch in Seattle. And I was just like, dude, you didn't even catch the ball. Shut up. But
Yeah, he really didn't. But since he's got to the Lions, he's had 3 straight years of 90 receptions.
you hit the nail on the head because he had last week 10 catches for 107 yards. Amir Abdullah, 15 carries, 30 yards. And then moving on to the Giants, not really much to report here.
Seriously, nothing at all. What did they have? A field goal? Did they even score a touchdown?
They might have had 2 field goals.
They might have. They might have had 2.
Eli Manning, 220 yards and interception. Paul Perkins, your leading rusher, with 7 carries, 16 yards. And then I don't know this guy as their leading receiver. Something Lewis, R. Lewis. We'll call
Ricardo Lewis.
Oh, okay. Ricardo Lewis, 4 catches, 54 yards. So, exactly wow. I did pick the Giants this week to win, but that is a very loose pick depending on if Odell plays or not. He's questionable this week.
Agreed. I as well picked the Giants, and I feel like their defense played well enough against the Cowboys last week to think that on a Monday night Stafford won't go in there and light it up, that they could keep it the scoring relatively down. And even if Beckham doesn't play, I still like the Giants by a little bit.
Wow, okay.
Surprising take. I feel like they get it together.
I think so too. I'm hoping Odell Beckham Jr. does not play. I am going up against him this week. Really don't want him to play. But even if he does, I feel like that injury has been really speculated on to the point where I think they'll just use him as a decoy, if anything, this week. And if that's the case, that's fine because I have Sterling Shepard starting in my flex, which is great.
That sounds great. Yeah, if Ben McAdoo is listening, Giants head coach is listening to Fireside Chats,
which he is.
I'm available on Sunday.
Yeah.
I could take a couple snaps out of the slot. I'll get you a couple of receptions.
Ben McAdoo is an avid listener of Fireside Chats, presents Chalk Up.
Shout out Ben McAdoo. What's up, boy? I'm starting in the slot on Sunday for you. Just letting you know.
Eagles gonna tear you up in 2 weeks, bro. Just saying.
Goddamn right.
Okay, so prediction time, dude. I'm going Giants, and I'm gonna go 17-10 Giants.
Oh my God! I thought you were gonna steal my score. I have 17-13 New York Giants.
Oh, so we're on the same page.
I think it's an ugly Monday night game. I don't think ESPN's happy about the excitement level of the game. I think it's going to be an ugly watch.
Yeah, Hank Williams Jr. is not going to be excited singing the Monday night.
No, he's not. He'll be rolling over in his grave.
I gotta say, good to see that though. I'd say, but anyway, that's all for the games, and it looks like this week we've differed on 2. I think we differed on 2
of the games we went into depth on and discussed. Yes. But we have we should mention to the listeners, we have a Pigskin Pick'em League that we're doing on ESPN. That's just a simple way, nothing against the spread or anything. Just pick the winner, keep track of your picks all year. I don't even know if we're going to do it for any money. We might do it for $10. We got 15 people in it, so it could be worth it. Yeah. We'll give you some updates out there on how that's going. But yeah. Mr. Butler beat me week 1, had a nice week 1, is in second place currently with 11 wins. My buddy Phil, I'll shout out Phil, is in first with 12.
This is going to
be. But I'm right behind you guys with 10, and it's a fun little way to track, and it's definitely a good thing to talk about. So you got bragging rights week 1, Mr. Butler.
Yeah, I really need to start picking my Thursday night games though.
Yeah, everyone's bound to miss 1 or 2 of them a year. Everyone just friggin' forgets or picks it and doesn't hit submit.
Yeah, it's terrible. But yeah, we differed on the Cowboys Broncos. You're going Cowboys, I'm going Broncos. And then we differed on Packers Falcons, and I believe I'm going Packers again, and you're going Falcons.
I'm going Falcons. Man, I love Aaron Rodgers, and I have no faith in the Packers. I'm picking against them 2 weeks in a row. The fuck am I doing? Dude. It's funny too because I almost texted you during that game. I should never bet against Aaron Rodgers. It's what I almost texted you. And
you know
once again, I'm betting against Aaron Rodgers.
This week, you should probably send me that text. Just saying.
No, it's not going to happen.
Jared,
it's going to be glad I bet against Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sure. Jared, I want to thank you once again for joining me for Chalked Up. Please go ahead. I know you got a show dropping Monday. Why don't you tell the listeners about it?
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you for having me on. It's always a lot of fun. Love talking football with you. You know your shit. This is a good conversation. But coming up on the Broadcast Podcast Show, we have on Monday, the 18th, Macho Man Randy Savage's album gets critiqued and reviewed and talked about for 2 hours straight by yours truly, Jared Schaefer, Mr. Mike Butler, and we'll call him Godfather of the show, Topher McCann.
Love it.
The three of us got together and talked about Macho Man's album. Nothing but Macho Man's album. Only thing we talked about was his album. for 2 hours. So that'll be out on Monday, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast. You can also go to broadcastpodcast.com. Check out all the stuff there. Give us a like on iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. All that stuff helps. We also have T-shirts, which Toph would kill me if I failed to mention.
Talk about the T-shirts.
That is broadcastpodcast.spreadshirt.com. Go get a bunch of swag. We got a bunch of new stuff coming to that. And at the end of the month, we are doing movie night. We've made a huge mistake, as we do every month. A movie called Star Kid from 1997, I believe. So
childhood favorites.
Look out for that. I'm excited to watch it and talk about it, honestly.
And guys, I cannot tell you, I don't think I've ever had as much fun doing these things as I have had when I go on the Broadcast Podcast. It's fun. We laugh. There's beer a lot. Sometimes, and it's just a great listen, and it's entertaining as hell. So be sure to check that out on Monday. I always enjoy tuning in and also being on the show from time to time.
And speaking on behalf of the broadcast, we love having you. There will be many more crossovers.
And I fucking cannot wait. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. You know you can follow me on all types of social media. The description will be below in the little box there. Be sure to follow me, whatever. All you guys follow me on Snapchat. I have a lot of followers. Don't want to brag, but I do. And,
at Mike Butler 1127.
At Mike Butler. Well, Snapchat's Butler 1127. I'm talking Snapchat. Twitter, that's Mike Butler 1127, and Twitter's.
Yeah, that's at broadcast podcast for us, or at notes on notes, bro.
There you go.
That bitch in England. I hate her.
That's why I'm laughing. That bitch in England. That's all I can think about.
She took notes on notes. What a whore. I'm coming for you, bitch. I'm gonna bang you and take your name.
Oh damn, that's the ultimate disrespect.
Savage, fucking savage.
But guys, if you have any opinions on this week's game and you want to chime in, hit me up on Twitter. I'll be sure to slide into those DMs. Slide into those DMs if you want. And I'll get back to you. I will do that. And I'll also, if you want to comment on YouTube, go for it too. I'll keep track of that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week, probably next Friday as well, with week 3 of Fireside Chats Presents Chalked Up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we are out.